All right, good morning, garden friends. Today I am going to be working up in the secret garden. Between the rain, this high humidity, the garden is just not looking how I want it to look. The hydrangeas, because of all the rain and the humidity, the flowers are brown. So I'm going to get those cut back. The Texas Vitex Lilac, while it is blooming beautifully, it has just taken over that area and it's taken away from the vision that I had when Kevin built the arches for me. My black-eyed Susies, just not the right spot where I have them because they end up getting so full. Then they tip over and it just does not look very organized. My roses, I need to be up there to get them cleaned out because I'm seeing a lot of yellowing, and you'll see what I'm talking about when we go up there. I'm gonna pull out the Helen Von Steen lambs here. I would think with that being a full sun area that they would do really well up there. They are not. A lot of mushy leaves. The one area I do believe that's the worst is due to the runoff from my neighbor's house. I think it's just having it too wet. I got some plants that are in other garden beds that I'm going to be moving up into the secret garden because this is the thing. While the one side is heart shade, and that is a contributing factor to us building the arbors, the left side is full sun. And I intentionally did that because I wanted color to be in the garden because, a lot of times shade gardens are mostly the greenery, the different shades of greenery. And I'm okay with that being on the right side. The left side, I want vibrant colors. I don't just want my roses to be the showpiece. So like I said, I'm gonna be moving a couple of plants that are in other beds, particularly my penstemon, because it's actually too close to where my hydrangeas are. That's in the backyard. So those guys are going to go up there. I got some dianthus that I'm going to put up in there. And I'm also going to be moving my speedwell further to the back, preferably where the lamb's ear was, because those guys get really big and then they spill over and I just don't like that look of it. So come on up to the secret garden and I'll show you how it is looking, and then the things that I'm going to be taking care of to just have that look more of a manicured, structured secret garden. Maybe that's my downfall, is that I like things very structured and neat. But I think it's going to end up being beneficial for the look that I am going for by me doing this. I'm going to also pick up some annuals, because the one thing that I am noticing, and I'll show you in the front bed of the 3-tier, because I have the Veronicas there and the black-eyed Susies, they end up spilling over, which in turns, along with the Texas Vitex, is blocking my Pink Mink Clematis. Now it's growing good, but I think those things are keeping the good sun that I need to be on the clematis. So come on with me. Let's go up into the secret garden and let me show you what things look like. Okay, so as you can see, look at my black-eyed Susies. This is not the right spot for it, and I've just come to realize that because they're spilling all over into my Veronicas. I need to get up here and clean out my Helen Bonstein lambs here. Oh wow, let's see here. What's going on with these guys? Oh yeah, I'm hoping that's nothing, but I'm gonna get in here and cut this out just in case it is. Need to clean up my roses. That's why they're yellow, because not enough air circulation with all this rain and the high humidity. But, oh, and see, because of the vertex, my pink mink isn't getting as much sun. But as you can see, it is growing nicely. Now this one over here did flower, and I do see, I thought I saw some flowers on it, yes. Yeah, so I just want to be able to get this area cleaned up. So, like I said, we're definitely going to limb this tree up big time because I can't walk through here. And as you can see, I see another spot. That branch there, we're gonna go ahead and cut off. I think. It might be right here that we cut it off. But just go ahead and get a lot of this stuff cleaned up. My Bobo's doing well, but this is the hydrangea that is not doing well. Look at this. Like I said, this is my White Wedding. We strapped it up because the rain had just beat it down. So I'm gonna get all those ugly flowers off. Get this guy pulled out of here. Wow, look at the Helen Bonstein. You can tell, and then them weeds. This just looks horrible in here. But I'm gonna go ahead and get it cleaned up. But like I said, my pink mink is growing good, but because of the Texas Vitex, it is blocking the sun for it to be able to bloom like the other ones. So that is what we are going to be doing today. Oh God, look at that. But my hibiscus is doing well over there. And then I have my, not snapdragons, what are those? I forget what those are that are back there. I'm gonna get those guys taken care of. All right, so Kevin's starting at the bottom and end up working his way up. You know, I think that one that's right above your head, that branch we need to cut. You might have to cut that off too, that one there. But I think that one that is sticking out where the branches are going outward, that we go ahead and get that cut. All right, guys, we're gonna get busy on this garden and then I'll walk you through when we are all done. All right, so we're still working on here in the secret garden, but it looks a lot nicer. And you see how much we limbed up the tree. And this is the thing. We have decided if this does not satisfy the growth or how this grows, we will probably end up digging it out and finding somewhere else to plant it in the yard, because it is a beautiful tree. And if you look, let's turn this back over here. I mean, it's over the arbor here. And if I could get it all the way up there, I would be content without it widening out here to where I can barely walk in here. So I ended up cleaning up the white weddings because they were looking bad. And oh, look here, guys. Seeing that I have cut back the Texas Lilac, even on this side, it is allowing more sun on these. These guys filled in really, really nicely. I need to tie this up, intertwine it in here so that it'll start climbing up the arbor. But yeah, it just looks a whole lot better. Something that I am going to do is take them out from here and over in this section because they ended up getting way, way too tall. And look at that. Oh, it's so adorable. I can't wait till it gets completely full. Yeah, it looks like I need to twine this up, untwine it, and let it climb up where I can see where it's going back down on this one. So I'll go ahead and get that done. But then look at my hibiscus. And then it looks like I need to trim that one out just a little bit more. I see new growth coming on there, but just to thin it out to allow some more air circulation like I did these guys, I had to remove the two Helen Bond stings because they were just too messy. All right, so something that I noticed that my, what is it? Gaura, I think I'm saying that right. I'll put the name of it up. That's in the petunia family. It's like the double ones. I don't think here it's getting enough sun. So I'm gonna end up taking all of these guys out and planting them elsewhere, probably in the back garden. So it'll get a little bit more sun. But then when I ended up taking my Larapi out, I see my Gaura is dying back. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that out from there and plant probably something else in that spot, because this is the thing. I know I have bulbs in here and I got to be real careful, but let me show you it so you can see what I mean about this lamb's ear. This lamb's ear, look at that. It's just too wet up here. So I'm gonna try to find another spot for it. And then, as I stated, I transplanted this. I think I'm gonna pull that out. Now this one's doing a little bit better, but I'm gonna pull both of those guys out. And my sweet peas that I have behind the hydrangea, I think I'm going to separate those and put them in each of the obliques for them to grow up, because these guys like full sun. So that is some additional stuff. Once I get up here, I see I need to take care of in the secret garden. Okay, so like I said, a couple things that I'm going to be doing up here is getting my black-eyed Susans moved, my Veronicas moved, the Helen Von Steen moved out of here, and just relay this out. And then I just want to say, I did not realize that my microphone was off. So I got it back working. Didn't realize that I hit the button. But let me go ahead, get the black-eyed Susies dug out. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, pot these guys up for this project that I'm doing for next year. But go ahead and get a lot of this stuff dug up and just have it look a little bit neater. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and get these black-eyed Susies dug up, because this is where I want to be able to put the penstemon. I've dug them up already, and one of the things that I like to do, especially with us having hotter temperatures, is to go ahead, anything that I dig up, get it back into the ground to reduce the shock. So let me get these guys up first. And the other reason why I want to move these guys is I notice that they are climbing, or the roots are going underneath, and I don't want it coming out on this side of the bed. But as you can see, they got nice roots on them. So I'll go ahead and get those guys planted. Let me get my little snips, because I got some roots that are underneath the boards. Now I am going to just put a little bit of compost in the soil, even though the soil is still nice and rich. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead along here in the front, get all of my Veronica speedwells moved, and where each of the lamb's ears are, that's where I'm going to put these guys at. So let me go ahead and get this stuff dug out, and then I'll get back on when I'm all done. All right, guys, had to take a break because it started raining on me again, but I've gotten all of the Veronicas moved where the lamb's ear was, and they still got a little shock going on, but I'm not going to worry about it. But one of the things that I'm doing to add color up here, because I'm going to be taking those guys out, is I got some Dianthus that I lined up down here the whole length, and then I'm going to be just adding these guys, which are coral Vincas. And they like full sun, but they're annuals. But I want to get just a pop of color in here. So, guys, let me go ahead and get these woven in between here. Those petunias out of there. Oh, and then one other thing that I'm doing up here. Okay, so I am starting to take out my yellow flag irises. I took the one out that was right there, because one of the things that I am going to end up doing for the betterment of this area and for my white wedding hydrangeas, I'm actually going to move those two from that location over there to over here. And part of the reason is I don't like to see the hydrangeas being tipped over. And because we have this eave here, and then also with the arbor, it will act as a buffer for when we have the heavy rains, to where it will not be knocking down my hydrangeas. So I'm going to put one here and probably one on the other side of my little statue next to my bobo, or I just might move my statue over a little bit so that they are centered in between here. But back there, I am going to be getting a Rose of Sharon tree to put there. And I think that'll end up looking really, really pretty. And then it'll give me room underneath the tree to plant, you know, additional plants, because I do have bulbs in that front area. So like I said, let me go ahead and get these plants planted before this next flush of rain come through. All right, garden friends, it is actually a new day, actually a couple new days, between work and also planning for our anniversary weekend. Wasn't able to get right back up here so I can show you guys what the secret garden now looks like. Now, some of you guys might say to me, Gaura, it looked good before, but I just like order, and it was just not looking the way I wanted it to. So let me turn the camera around and show you guys how nicely it ended up turning out. Okay, I love the fact that I can see all the way to the back of the secret garden. Now, one of the things that we are going to do is that part of my crepe myrtle we're going to cut back. So, and that's only because of me moving some plants in here. So let's go on inside and let me show you guys what I have done here. Oh, I think it looks so much nicer. I moved my Veronicas, my speedwells, to the back. They're bouncing back, but I'm not worried about those guys because they are nice and hardy. I ended up digging up some of my echinacеas and put it in 3 spots down here to give me some fall color. Like I said, I ended up moving my penstemon on both ends down there. I'll show you down there. And then just woven some Vincas for my annual color, and then my Dianthus. And I think it ended up looking really, really nice back here with a pop of color here. And then the other thing too is my, what are those, daylilies, because they don't spill over like the Veronicas do. I left those guys there and then just wove in some annuals and, like I said, the Dianthus. I moved out my Gaura and placed one of my daylilies there. I have my yarrow and my variegated larapi is doing well. I did go in and snip off all that brown stuff that was on there, and I do believe it had to do with the amount of rain that we were getting, because the rain did taper off some and we had cooler weather, but I think this ends up looking really, really nice. Now, a change of plan. As I had stated, my White Wedding Hydrangeas, the 2 back there, I'm actually moving over here. I've already cleared out my yellow flag irises that were here, moved my statue down a bit to where I'm gonna plop the 2 of those in there this fall. Now, the one thing that is changing, I had stated I was going to get a Rose of Sharon to put there. And as I had mentioned, we love this tree. And what we're gonna do this fall is we're gonna actually move it from the center here, because we think we'll probably be constantly trimming it back while it's here in the center. So hopefully we will be able to dig this up and then place it here in the back where my 2 white weddings are going to be. And like I said, part of the reason of moving these guys too much in the direct line of heavy rain, and it ends up beating these guys down so badly. And if you look at my Bobo over here, my Bobo hardly dipped any. And like I said, I do believe it's because of the eave that we have, and then also the protection from the arbors that we built. But the other benefit of moving the Texas Vitex back here, because it will get 8 to 10 foot tall, as you guys can see, my limelights back there, the back row looks really good. And by allowing the Texas Lilac to fully mature and sprawl out, it'll act as a protectant to reduce some of that beat down of the heavy rain onto my hydrangeas. So that's part of the reason why we think it is a better idea to place the Texas Vitex here, with the hope that when we move it, it will end up surviving. But all in all, I am so loving how the garden looking now. And you can see the beauty of it. And then, like I said, see how much sun my pink minks are getting. And I think too, even with us moving the tree, you got that one branch that sticks out, and when it gets nice and full, possibly we'll be blocking the sun for this. So that is the main reason why we're doing it. Now, the other thing that I did was in each of the obliques, my sweet peas. These are perennial sweet peas that I ended up moving and placing in each one of those so that they have something to climb up, because back here they were wrapping around my hydrangeas and I didn't like that. So overall, I am so loving how the secret garden looks, and I end up being able to see all the way through to truly enjoy the arches. And then, like I said, white weddings will be going over there this fall. So these are all the black-eyed Susies that I took out of the secret garden. I actually cut it all the way back, except for this one, to where there was green, because I want all the energy to be focused on making stronger roots, and then the greenery start to grow. And I will keep you guys apprised of how these guys are doing. I'm going to go ahead and get them watered and put them in a part shade area, just so that they are not getting the beat down of the sun, so that they can start growing. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed seeing what we had done to the secret garden to have it more organized add a pop of color and the changes that we are going to be making this fall. Well, thank you again for visiting Inspiring Garden Corner, and I so appreciate your support on my garden journey. And if you enjoy my content, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to my channel. I so appreciate it.